Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Opening the Door and Experiential Meditation. Today is Wednesday, August 15th. It is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this evening we're going to participate together in Tong-Len, a guided meditation embracing all of humanity. And boy, do we need it. So, oh, look at that. I don't have my camera working right now. Isn't that funny? So let's see if I can get this camera to actually come on. That's kind of interesting. Figures that would just happen in the middle of it. But in the meantime, I'll speak to you from the dark. And we'll see if it pops back on. Oh, look, there I am. Sorry, I happened to be in another dimension when I had to start the video. I was running a little late returning back to this dimension, so it took a minute. Let's just go with that excuse, how about, and see if that works. Can I get you to do me a favor, though, maybe, and turn this light out here for me, if you would? So, hello to Jennifer. Hi, everyone who's here this evening, whether you're present or not. And you know, wherever you are here, so that's great to be, and it's good to see you all. And as usual, we're coming together to participate in a meditative practice, a practice that helps center ourselves, helps return us to that peace and quiet. You know, this is day 10 of my fast, and I typically try and fast at least twice a year. And around day 10, some really interesting things are happening with the brain. And one of those things is that you get really, really quiet. Now, I've always been nice and quiet in my head over the last decade or so. But when I'm in the 10th to 14th day of fasting, the silence can be sublime. So I've been spending a lot of time just sitting outside and taking in nature and just being. And that's part of meditation. Part of meditation is learning how just to be, to just stay in that space. And it is in that space that the true beauty and wonder of our creation and this universe and the all that we are part of can become evident. You know, I myself am guilty sometimes of allowing myself to get wrapped up on what I see in the illusion. And part of that comes from the frustration of the deep knowing that we don't have to do it that way. We can choose different. Tonight, we are choosing to generate compassion for all beings. Compassion not only for ourselves, not only compassion for our neighbors and our friends and our family, but compassion for the whole of humanity. And then beyond that, compassion for every species on the planet. You know, Kelly was mentioning to me today how she saw a video clip regarding a woman who was placing a snail in some water or in some flowing water, and it was clearly evident that the snail was enjoying itself, that it was loving it. It was reacting positively to the experience. Every bit of creation, all of it, has consciousness. All of it has a level of awareness. You know, my grandfather, who was a part native, had a wonderful, wonderful thing that he would tell me, you know. He would ask me if the rocks had spoken to me yet, or if I noticed they moved. And my answer was always no. And when I was a young boy, of course, I didn't really understand what he was alluding to. But he would always answer and say to me, when there's enough peace within you, you'll notice that the rocks move and that they speak as well. And you know what? He turned out to be right. It turned out to be, the truth of things, that everything speaks to us. And it's true, whether we're talking about the macro, the large scale of this physical universe we see, or we're talking about the micro, the tiniest scale. Everything is a reflection of everything else. Everything is speaking to us. There was another fantastic clip out there regarding ferns and listening to the music that they produce, the vibrations that they produce. Everything around us is communicating to us in profound ways. Many of those ways far beyond our normal conscious states. That does not mean those communications are not occurring. It means oftentimes you're unaware of them. Meditation allows us to become more aware of them. Having compassion for every aspect of this creation, and most importantly, having compassion for yourself, allows you to begin to see more deeply into this wondrous dance that we would call physical life. So with that, I would ask that you would take a deep breath perhaps. Allow yourself to become comfortable. And we are going to engage in a guided meditation. There will be periods of silence. And in that silence, I would ask you just to watch your breath and try to allow your mind to stay focused on the picture that we're going to create. Again, we come to that sacred meadow of light and love, that familiar place nestled among the high mountain peaks. The air is fresh and clean. We walk the now familiar path, hand in hand, intent in our purpose as we take in the sights and sounds of this glorious meadow. It is here at the top of the world, in this beautiful place of whispering grasses, towering pines, that we connect deeply to the spirit of the earth. These mountain ranges serve as antennas. They will radiate out everything. We come upon our sacred circle, take our well-worn cushions as we sit together at that gateless gate. In your mind's eye, Imagine a pathway. The pathway leads through high mountain alpine, blueberries grow along the sides of the craggy path. There is something familiar about this place. The path is quite steep. And yet, with every step, you feel more energized, more aware, more yourself. Soon, like a playful child, you find yourself skipping of what now is turning into stone steps leading through the forest. Higher and higher. More and more free. Your burdens, your worries, your sense of self, you drop those along the trail to lighten your load. In a moment, just beyond the edge of the trees, an open plateau comes into view. The sun alights upon the stone slab in the center of this open plateau. Before you, at the base of the stone tablet, lies a plaque. The characters are unfamiliar. But you know it has been thousands of years since another human being has set foot on this plateau. Instinctively, you climb up on that stone tablet. And lay back, marveling at the blue sky above you. daydreaming now. Allow your consciousness to separate. Part of you here, aware. Part of you dreaming within the dream. Time ceases to have meaning. From your place on this plateau, you watch the endless march of humanity. From its early beginnings in the trees, to our modern day civilizations. Allow yourself to experience the depth of feeling, you enter into the mind of a mother trying to protect her child. The frantic confusion and panic as a businessman watches his fortune evaporate. The shame and fear of revealing the truth of who someone may be. The anger, the loss, the pain. Stretched before you below this plateau, the upward gazing eyes of every member of humanity rest upon you. Countless millions, confused, asleep, unaware of the truth of their being. you feel their suffering. It harmonizes with your own. In the deep recesses of our egoic mind. Will you become the sacrifice on this altar? The whole of humanity awaits. You understand what the words on the tablet below this sacrificial altar were trying to convey. Looking down upon the masses, all of humanity meets your eye. Billions of beings. And yet, the only thing you can see in their eyes is you. Will you sacrifice your small sense of self? Will you sacrifice your beliefs on right and wrong? Will you sacrifice any false thought that would separate one from another? lying back on that stone altar, your decision made. You hold all of humanity in your arms. Looking up, you smile at the being that has appeared at the side of the altar. You know this being. It is you. All that you truly are. The time has come. Your decision made. And as you close your eyes for the last time to that false sense of self, your consciousness explodes outward. An explosion of light and love. Raining down upon the whole of humanity. putting out the fires of anger and hate and division. Quenching the thirst of the lonely and the forgotten. Rejuvenating the land. Bringing peace. Balance. Oneness. Stay in this expanded space for a while. The rain of your love covers the planet like a blanket. Take this time to continue to radiate love and light. Namaste.